Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I will be reading a multi-character listener by me. So let's get into it. Tengen. You really had no idea what to do or say. Being in this kind of situation where you felt like you wanted to do something but didn't know whether it should be done or not. By the end, you just figured trying it wouldn't hurt. And Tengen, well, he loved you, and for the most part, he loved whatever you did. So at the very least, you should be able to tolerate it. You had guessed that much, and hoped so. He was sitting without his shirt on, and he was narrating something, waiting for his shirt to dry. You had offered to get him a new one, but he didn't want it, saying he would much rather wait. So you watched him for a little bit, and temptations got the best of you. You put a hand to his chest, smiling. Well, don't blame me for what I'm about to do, Tengen. You look gorgeous right now. He was a little bit breathless at first, but then he got right into it, smiling and cupping your face in his hands, pulling you in for a soft peck. Alright then, I'm waiting. Obanai? Obanai was very self-conscious. Not as in he thought he looked bad. He just wasn't used to people ogling at him like you were. It felt weird, and he thought it was weird. For the most part, he was just used to being alone, and for no one staring at him as much as you did. But you were so very much in love, and that's why, when he saw him sitting alone in the living room, all shirtless like that, he had no choice but to do the following. You sat next to him, and put a hand on his shoulder, slowly moving it until you were touching his abs. Wyon, what are you doing? Not much, as you can see. Why are you so worried? I'm not worried. There is nothing for me to be worried about after all, he said, but he doubted he was being true with himself. Either way, you let yourself take advantage of the situation that you had, and lean down to press a soft kiss to his chest, one by one, letting him savor it all up, all this affection that he wasn't used to. It was something that he reveled in, as blushing as he was and as shy as he was as well. And he knew that, and that's why he kept it coming. Rengoku. Now, Rengoku was not a man of hesitance. In fact, he loved you so much that such things were very, well, not unusual, but you're affectionate with one another, and he was not so shy as to be a blushing mess as soon as he saw you and noticed the fact that you were staring at his chest. And then, seeing you sit next to him with that look in your eyes, that said you were up to no good. Obviously, when you put a hand to his chest, he chuckled, and though there was a very light blush on his cheeks, he didn't back away. He enjoyed it, in fact, telling you to get a little bit more bolder if you wanted him to react, and that's when you started kissing him. And that's when he also put his arms around you, putting a hand on your hair, stroking you gently as you admired him, showering him with compliments and many little pecks across the expanse of his abs and chest. He deserved it. He worked hard to get muscles like these, and you sure as hell were going to admire them. It was your job, after all. A very fine one, might you say. Giyuu. Now, Giyuu was not very affectionate. He loved you, of course, without a doubt, but something like being so affectionate and putting himself on display in that way, he was too shy and too nervous to do so. You understood him. You did, but that didn't mean you couldn't admire him every once in a while. That's why you saw him shirtless and decided that it was your moment to shine. You sat next to him, putting a hand on his chest, trailing it gently while he blushed. Why on, Come on, don't be so shy, Giyuu. We're getting married next week, and you still get nervous around me. You've gotta fix that. And it wasn't like you could argue. So maybe he would let you have your fun, even if for a little bit, and even if he was very nervous. He loved you, and loving you was worth enduring this, and that embarrassed feeling on his chest for a little while longer. Muichiro. As soon as you started to touch him, he was a little bit embarrassed. Perhaps a little bit more than just a little bit. The thing is, he was very shy and unused to this, and in your relationship, you weren't really used to doing that with him either. This was something special and rare, and of course, he would be unused to it. Wayan, I just. You need to. I need to what? Well, would you just slow down for a little bit? He asks, and you nod, giving him a chance to collect his thoughts. And after I told you to continue, you decided to do so. You didn't want to startle him so much, and you knew, as excited as you were, he deserved to progress and do whatever he wanted at his own time, without feeling any sort of pressure. Sanemi. Sanemi was not shy, but the act of being so affectionate made him vulnerable. So, of course, when you put a hand to his chest and started getting so handsy with him, he would be a little bit, well, weirded out for lack of better wording. What are you doing, Wayan? What do you think I'm doing? You ask, leaning in, leaving a soft peck on his abs. He blushed then and looked away. He didn't respond to your question, but, unlike what you thought, he didn't object to you continuing. In fact, by the end of it, he was starting to relax into it and held you, pulling you closer to him until you were sitting on his lap. Perhaps somewhere inside of him, he had wanted this more than you could ever admit. But now that you saw him like this, he knew very well that you were doing what was right all along. Perhaps he was not as affection averse as he always thought. He loved you. He just was not always ready to show it. And perhaps he didn't always know how, and found it difficult to accept your love in an easy manner. But soon, he would be able to ease into it just fine.